I'm the first one to make you come, ain't that right, baby? It's all John kept bringing up and saying since our little sescapade downtown in his back seat. And it had been over a month, but yet since that night, that is all this nigga kept bringing up at random given times. Because, yeah, for the first time, finally, I had come, and I think I shouted it out while we were doing it in his back seat downtown. But honestly, though, I really feel like I lied to him because I just wanted to stroke his ego. Because after thinking about it for some time, I'm like, I really made myself calm because of how I was writing you. You didn't have much to do with that. And the more I thought about it as well, he wasn't the first to make me calm. I was the first to make me calm.
All of this love is toxic. All these kisses and hugs and not shit. You a damn drug, you toxic.
I'm the first one to make you come, ain't that right, baby? It's all John kept bringing up and saying since our little sescapade downtown in his back seat. And it had been over a month, but yet since that night, that is all this nigga kept bringing up at random given times. Because, yeah, for the first time, finally, I had come, and I think I shouted it out while we were doing it in his back seat downtown. But honestly, though, I really feel like I lied to him because I just wanted to stroke his ego. Because after thinking about it for some time, I'm like, I really made myself calm because of how I was writing you. You didn't have much to do with that. And the more I thought about it as well, he wasn't the first to make me calm. I was the first to make me calm. So I'm like, and when I say I was the first to make me calm, I mean like from back in the day, when you're young and you're first discovering sex and you don't know what you're really doing and whatnot, and you play around down there. Maybe it's just me, I don't know, but I was the first one to discover that through masturbation at a young age when I first discovered my body and what sex was. But here I was giving him that title, so to speak. And I realized in the moment that I was lying to him when I told him that, but it's just like I just wanted to stroke his ego. And it's like that's what he lived for. It's like we would be having a problem in the relationship if I wasn't always pleasing him or stroking his ego. So I lied. And to this day, he probably somewhere believing, but yeah, I may not be with Kindall no more, but I was the first nigga to make her come. I was the first to make her come. And all I would say every time he asks, yeah, babe, that's right. Yeah, babe, that's right. Even in the moments when I got mad at him, I was like, yeah, that's right, baby. You sure was. Bullshit. Between me and you, bullshit. But anyway, moving along. So, if you were like me growing up, you always invited people, snuck people into your house when your mom wasn't there. So, that's what I would do. So when my mom would go to work, she would go to work from like 3 to 11 at night. So John had a new job up the street and around the corner in a call center that I used to work at. And Evelyn and my other friend Georgina, the one that give a fuck about niggas, y'all know I gotta say that every time I bring her up, they both still worked at the call center. So they would see him from time to time and whatnot. So, whenever he got off work, he would get off around 5. He would come by on his way home and just chill with me until like 11 o'clock, right before my mom got off. Sometimes 10:30, because sometimes she'll sneak home a little early. So, we would just he'd come over there, he'll kick it on the one day I had off, because I would work the night shift at the old job where we met it. I still work there. But anyway, enough of the semantics. So he just would come over and he would smoke weed in my house, even though I didn't feel comfortable with it, and told him that my mom saw in the trash can the cigarillo ashes the last time. You know how you dump the cigarillo out? I don't know if you know or not, but when you're rolling the blunt, you get a cigarillo, you cut it open, and you dump the tobacco out, and then you put the weed in. For weed smokers, you know that. But if you don't, now you know. So he would dump the tobacco out of the cigarillo in the trash can in my mama's living room. You know, a little small waste paper basket. He would dump it in there and didn't give a fuck. And I told him, I'm like, she saw that one time before and she questioned it. So don't dump it right there. Can you dump it somewhere else? And he would do it anyway. So anyway, he's sitting there rolling his little blunt, sitting there smoking in the house. I didn't really want him to do that, but I just learned how to mask it and cover it up so that my mom wouldn't smell it. The last time she came home, she didn't actually smell it. She just seen that little cigarillo shit that I forgot to get out the trash can. So I'm just like, whatever. Basically, always letting him have his way. You know, whatever kept the peace, so to speak. So he's in there smoking, and he see this Bacardi rum commercial come on. I never forget. We was sitting there, and the commercial came on. And he's sitting there smoking. He looked at them. He like, you see how them flat ass white girls dancing? If they can dance, I know you can dance. Cause in the commercial it had some white women, you know, dance. You know how the Bacardi One commercials were. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But they were dancing in the video. And I just looked at it. He was like, yeah, you should be able to dance for your man. Cause at this point, he would ask me to dance for him or to give him a lap dance or to twerk on him and all that. And then it's like I never felt comfortable doing that. I never really knew how to do that. And I just didn't want to do that. And he would get an attitude every time and be like, I never seen no woman that don't want to dance for her man, and say little, you know, negative shit to me about it. So he would bring it up every chance he get, and I always felt uncomfortable because I'm like, here we go again with the same thing. Quit asking me stuff that I said no, that I don't really want to do. And he was just trying to find every excuse in the book to why I should say yes, or just, yeah. So he brought it up then. I'm just sitting there like, okay, whatever. Still trying to keep the peace. I just say, I just don't feel comfortable doing that. And I'm like, I feel like you just critique me anyway. And he was like, you won't know until you try. He always had something back to go with it. Just, he didn't give a damn that I didn't feel like or wanted to do it. So, anyway, after that, he's sitting there, finished his blunt, ash it out, and he's like, okay, so what you got to eat? And me trying to be serving to him, I got up and like, well, let me see what my mom cooked, because my mom would sometimes leave some food on the stove for me to eat. She would cook herself something for lunch, for work, and leave me whatever was left. And so I was like, let me go see. Went in there, and it was some baked chicken with rice with green beans. Like some smothered baked chicken with rice. And I'm like, okay, so it's only really enough for just me. You know, my mama, of course, ain't trying to feed no nigga. And so I'm like, well, damn. And I'm like, well, I got to eat. So he ain't finna give him all my food. So I'm like, okay, let me give him a piece of the chicken, some rice, and the beans. I'll take a little of the chicken and put it in a salad for me. Because, you know, I'm thinking, you know, men don't eat salads really. And plus, I had never seen him eat a salad. So I'm like, you know, I'll just make me a salad and give him the sides. So we split it. We both have food to eat. There we go. So I go into the kitchen, make the plates, make the food, and tell me why, after I bring his plate, he's eating it, I come around the corner and sit on the couch with my salad. Y'all, tell me why he went off on me. Tell me why he got mad. Why you gonna make me a salad? I like salads. How you know I ain't want that? And I'm like, I didn't know. I was so confused. Like, here he go getting mad at me again over some dumb shit. I'm just so confused. I'm like, I didn't know you eat salads. Most men don't. I mean, that's so selfish of you. You selfish as hell to be doing stuff like that. And you know, you could have made me a salad too. And if anything, you could have split the salad and the sides. We could have both had, you know, just coming up with all kind of scenarios of what I should have done. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what? Like, I didn't have to give you any of the food. And I told him, I was like, well, if I'm so selfish, I wouldn't have shared anything with you, John. No, you could have just split it all up. I like salads too. Mad over a chicken fucking salad. Mad at me. And I'm just like sitting there so confused, anxious, like, what the fuck? I'm so sick of this shit. And I'm like, okay, would you like a bite of my salad? I'm trying to, ease the tension in the room. I'm like, okay, you want some? You can have some of my salad. You want a bite of it? And he was like, yeah. So I, got a fork full of the salad with the chicken and the lettuce and all the little stuff I had in it. Gave him a bite. I never forgot how his face looked when he was biting off my fork. He's still looking all mad and angry while he eating the salad. I'm looking like, you big dumbass nigga. I'm like, oh. So he taking a bite of the salad. He just chewing it, mad still, got an angry look on his face, scowling. He was like, it's pretty good. And then I gave him another bite. And the whole time he got a whole plate of food in his fucking lap. Whole plate of food. And I'm just like... So he eats half my salad and his plate of food, and I'm left with a little bit. But I'm the selfish one. Needless to say, this was the most traumatic, toxic relationship ever. I mean, I've been through 2, and the next one will be about my other ex. I don't want to say his name yet for y'all just tuning in, and you haven't read the book, because I want you to, slowly be rolled into all of this. And I don't want to cheat, because some people actually read the book, and so they know what happens. If you haven't, then you'll find out. But yeah, I've been through 2 toxic relationships. There's a whole lot more to this story. But quick little intermission. Back to the story. So this was the most dramatic relationship ever for stuff like that. And I was just like, found myself not even really liking him anymore. Not even really loving him anymore. I found myself feeling like that a lot, like kind of like over it, literally, like this is getting on my nerves. But I never could seem to like break away, and I don't know why. And I think it's because I just wanted to see it to the end, or I was just like, maybe because I seen my mom in loveless relationships and bad toxic relationships, like with my dad, and it's like no matter how bad it got, she was just always there still, doing her job, cooking and cleaning, taking care of the house, taking care of him, still doing the same thing. I would see her, cry to herself. I would see her, her and my dad argue and fight, but she just stayed through. And I'm just like, well, okay. So I don't know, but I was really getting sick of him. But it's like I never could just like leave. And so after that, we ate our food and whatnot. And I ate what little salad I had left. And I'm just like sitting there trying to, I don't know, keep the peace and hope nothing else crazy comes up. And we started making, light conversation. Seemed to kind of ease things over. And I looked down at his fingernails and I was like, your nails are pretty long for a guy. He was like, well, I keep my pinky nails long. He helped me get the seeds out the weed, or something like that he would say. I guess because back in the day, weed had seeds in it. I don't know if you're a weed smoker now, but I don't see seeds in weed anymore. So back in the day, though, I think it did. And so he used to use his long pinky nails, he said, to help him get the seeds out of the weed or whatever. And so I was just looking at his nails. I was like, well, I can cut your nails, and I even cut your toenails. And it sounds so random, but I don't know if I was trying to be nice, or I'm thinking that's genuinely who I am, because that's just, I don't know. It doesn't matter. But I remember I seen my mom once with a guy she dated. She, gave her man a pedicure. And I'm like, it won't hurt. And I was just like trying to be nice. And I guess trying to ease the moment. And I guess I was always just trying to please him, because he made it that expectation that I have to do it all, while he rarely did anything. It was always about him, but he didn't seem to realize that he was making it that way. I guess trauma and shit can make you that damn selfish. But anyway, I never forget how he just lit up. It was all happy. He got the little teary-eyed look in his face whenever I've done something to please him or make him feel good or whatever. He was like, "Oh, you'll do that for me?" He was like, "Man, as long as I was with my ex, she ain't never cut my toenails. And even though I used to beg her to do it, she would never do it. This and that and that." And he was all happy and stuff. So I'm like, "Oh, okay." And in the back of my head, I'm like, all right, there's something else that I did better than his ex. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm quote unquote winning. So I end up cutting his toenails and his fingernails. And to be honest, feet never really grossed me out or nothing like that. So it wasn't like it was too far fetched from what I do. But the thing is, he really didn't deserve that. But I found myself always trying to find some kind of happy moment or some kind of way to please him or I guess be better than his ex because I was caught up in that shit. Caught up in the shit of trying to be better than an ex. Trying to be everything he wanted and trying to just please him. And I just got so caught up in that. And that's why I was like over it, but not over it. And so doing all of that, fast forward to I guess a few weeks later or whatever. I don't know the timeline of this. I'm just going along with how it's kind of in my book, but skipping over some parts. But anyway, next thing that had me over his ass. So he began to have car trouble, and I'm like, great. So his car, it hardly worked. It was already falling apart when I first met him months ago. And at this point, we were in a relationship for maybe 6 months. And so his car broke down. And of course, he had a job that was on the other side of town. And he had to get to work. And he would ask me. And let me tell you what made me over this shit. So I remember when he first called and asked me over the phone, he didn't really ask. He was like, "Man, I got car trouble. I don't know how I'm going to get to work." Kind of hinting at what he needed. And I'm like, I don't know either. And it's because I really didn't know because I think I had 2 jobs at this point. I did. I was working around the corner at one call center and then not the one he worked at. And then I worked across town at our old job. We used to work it together. So I was trying to do both because I needed some extra money. I was trying to make as much money as I could. And so I would work one early in the morning and then work the other 3 to 11. And so one of my jobs, I think I had to be at 9 in the morning. I think I would work. It was part-time. It was 9 to 2:30. Something like that. I remember it was part-time. And it would give me enough time to get over across town to my other job. And so his job, he had to be at work at 8 a.m. And so I had to be at work at 9 a.m. So no, I don't really feel like getting up extra early, drive across town to get you to work, bring you back over here to my side of town, then me go around the corner to my job. I didn't want to do that. And so I'm like, I'm not going to put that stress on me. So I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I was like, I don't know how either. I got to be at work too. And he was like, So he hung up the phone that night. And I could tell he was kind of pissed. And so I'm trying to remember how it ended up coming up. I think he came over to my house again. Or either he called the next day. Let me see. Not that it matters, but it do kind of matter to me. Let me see. I don't remember how it happened, but I remember it became an argument because he either called me back or something. He was like, you knew I didn't have no way to work. You don't have to be at work until an hour after me. You could come and get me. I had to ask somebody else to take me to work. And he was going off all on me because he didn't say what he wanted up front. And I was like, I don't know how I wish I could do it, but I got to be at work my own self. Because, like I said, I wasn't driving across town. He got all heated, pissed at me, going off. And I'm just like, he kind of guilt tripped me into doing that shit. So I'm like, whatever, I just come get you. And I'm just like, damn, I gotta get up extra early, go across town, whew. So I did it. Got up extra early, went across town, waited on him to come out. out of his house, took him to work. And I remember he would come out. I'll never forget the first time I picked him up and he came out. He was like, I want to play this CD on the way to work. Some CD, and it was Cameron CD. It's an old Cameron CD, and it was like a rap music CD, whatever. And it came on just loud rap music and shit. And I'm just like, I don't feel like hearing this on the way to work. It's too early. I was grouchy. I already had to pick him up. So I remember like, I don't feel like hearing this. I'm sorry. I'm trying to hear what I would play in my own car. You gotta listen to me play this. And he got all mad at that again. I'm just like, and I remember I think he took it out and slammed it in the glove compartment all mad. I'm just like, oh my gosh. I said, I already don't want to do this shit. You already kind of forcing me. I'm just thinking like, just tired of this shit. So I'm trying to keep a little nice face. I'm trying to be nice. I remember I pick him up and I always have like this little attitude, like I'm supposed to be happy to see him. I'm like, nigga, it's early in the morning. I'm not happy to see you. I had to get up extra early before my work. I'm working 2 jobs and you just care about you getting up. I'm just like, whatever. So, no, I didn't have a happy attitude whenever I came and got him. And he would get pissed about that every fucking morning. And so, I'm like, I'm just sleepy. I don't feel like being bothered and all that. But he didn't give a damn. And so, I would get up, carry him to work. And I did that for a while. Like, I don't remember for how long. A while. And I really think that the one time or a few times that he didn't need a ride, I was thinking, some other woman was taking him. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of was like, in the back of my mind, like, let me go and do it, because what if another woman is taking him? But a big part of me was just like, I don't care, because I don't feel like getting up extra early. I'm not an early person. I don't want to get up early. But then the other part of me was like, okay, maybe I should, because, what if some other chick trying to do it? So I'm like, whatever. But I remember the reason what made me think this is because whenever I would like drop him off at work, he wouldn't let me pull all the way up to the door. He would be like, I don't know, he would pull up kind of like far back from it. And I was always curious, why. And he always just stopped me and be like, yeah, drop me off just right here, I'm fine. And I'd just be like, why? I'm fine. I can just walk up. I don't want you, everybody in my business and stuff. He would say something like that. There's always a code. When niggas say that, that's code for, I'm hiding you, basically. And I felt it, but I was just like, okay. I didn't know what to think of that. But I'm like, okay, something ain't right. Something going on. And so, I would, bring him, drop him off at work. I can't remember how long I did this, drop him off, and it was the same thing, like, every single morning. And then I would even sometimes pick him up from work. Once again, not pulling up to the front. He said, pick me up right around here. Pick him up from work and take him to my mama house. Hang out with me a little before it was time for her to come home. Then take him all the way home that night. And I would do that over and over again. I did that for, I don't remember how long. At least a month. Maybe a little longer. That's how, like, I guess entitled he thought he was. And silly me just thought, I gotta do what he wants.